Modern Seamstress here, showing you some traditional versus modern sewing tools. I think this will be really interesting. So the first thing I have is a pin cushion, and we've all seen one of these. It holds your sewing pins. And I also have some hand sewing needles in here as well. And so when you're sewing and you pull out a pin as you're stitching, you would just pause and stick this back in the tomato. This little thing here, it's not just for decoration, it's actually to sharpen your pins. And so you can stick your pins in there and it just sharpens the tip of them. So this is your traditional equivalent, the pin cushion. These come in all sorts of different colors. Your modern equivalent is a pin magnet, and I'm a huge fan of these for several reasons. The first is that if you drop pins on the floor or wherever you drop them, you can do this. And the magnet picks up all of your pins. And this is very time-saving, which I like. And so when you're sewing, you can just sort of toss a pin and it catches it, and you're not having to take the time to pause with the machine and actually stick the pin back in the pin cushion. So these are relatively inexpensive. These are about $4. This set of pins is about $2. So we're not talking about a significant investment. I have several of these and I really like them. So pin cushion, pin magnet. I'm going to come back to another traditional and modern equivalent. So I'm going to talk about pins. So when you place a pattern down, you can pin them, which is traditionally what seamstresses have done. The modern equivalent is to weight it. And these are just washers from the hardware store. And you can get a set of 50 for about $15. And these are the largest washers that they have. And they're quite heavy, and so when you place a pattern down, you can just put a weight on it, and then you don't have to pin it. So again, this is a time saver times a million. So pins versus pattern weights. And last but not least, if you're going to sew, you need a great pair of sewing shears. And these are about $40 from a company called Ginger. And they will actually sharpen these for you if you mail them to them. You have to pay for shipping, but they will actually grease this hinge here. They'll sharpen the blades and they'll mail them back. And so there's sort of a lifetime warranty on these when you buy a pair. And these are probably the best you can get. These are sort of the standard for seamstresses. Do not use these on paper because they will dull them. So every seamstress knows that you have fabric scissors and paper scissors. And the modern equivalent is the Rotary Cutter. And you quilters out there have seen this before. There's a rotating blade. There's a guard because these are very sharp, and every seamstress, including myself, has hurt themselves using a Rotary Cutter. So be forewarned. But you can basically cut into fabric quite easily and quite efficiently with a Rotary Cutter. So if you are thinking of learning how to sew, I would recommend highly that you have a Rotary Cutter and you have a cutting mat. And you can find these at Joann in the cutting section right next to the scissors. You also want a pair of scissors for detail work, but a Rotary Cutter is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of headache, and it's going to make your cuts much more accurate. So I hope you've enjoyed this little demonstration here. If you have any questions or comments, please include that in the comment section, and I look forward to hearing from you.